Hello and welcome to another daily Muppet. Obviously, in this video, I'm not in my normal location. I don't have my normal setup. I don't have my normal camera. I don't have normal audio or any of those kinds of things. I'm traveling at the moment, but I wanted to make a quick video this morning just to talk about a few things and updates after last night's big win as United have finally once again qualified for the Europa League final, have a chance to win it, as we did under Jose, and of course, as we all remember, unfortunately, that we failed to do under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But that now makes three of our last four managers who have managed to reach the Europa League final. Hopefully, Amrim, like Jose, can get it done in his first season. Not that it's even his first full season, and get us back into Champions League. And obviously did it in, I wouldn't say dramatic fashion, but it was funny to watch how, as United fans, we were all worried with a 3 goal lead, and then really worried with a 2 goal lead, very upset, very stressed about the situation. But obviously, we've been burned so many times before. That is a natural occurrence. So I'm going to go through some of the little things about that game, some of the thoughts about it, and then as well talk about Cunha because there was some news yesterday, different. There was news yesterday. There was different uh, aspects to that I just want to cover because people might be a little bit worried at the moment. There was some news that did come out about another young player United are targeting that looks very much in the vein of, hey, this is like a Vivell type of signing, another kid like that, to be looked at, and then as well a little bit of news on young. Well, I shouldn't say young, but there's a little bit of news on Marcus Rashford and potentially moving to Barcelona, which, as we know, or as we've talked about a few times before, is his preferred option, and it is seemingly starting to pick up a little bit when it comes to the news there and the possibilities of this happening. So, yeah, we will see about that one, but we have a little bit to cover there, and I will speak on that as well. Won't be a long video, but let's get right into it. So first, I want to talk about obviously the game yesterday, and went with the same 11 that won that 3-0 against Athletic in Bilbao. And how would I describe it? It wasn't as bad as like the first 20 minutes against Bilbao. We looked terrible. We could have conceded. We could have gone down. We could have been in big trouble. We could have been in a rough situation. Um, the first 20, 30 minutes or so were actually kind of okay. I wouldn't say it was good. I wouldn't say it was bad. It was just okay. Um, then Bilbao go and score a goal. Now, that goal was essentially the result of there was two bad moments in the game, and it's a thing we have to be concerned about. Two bad moments that led prior to that goal that kind of put us under pressure. Number one was a really weird kick from Onana that came in a minute earlier, a few minutes earlier, where he just gave it away like right out the back, right into this space, like right here. They ended up with a cross that comes in that Mazraoui has trouble dealing with, and they get a shot that goes just over the corner. And it was a bit of a warning sign, like, hey, maybe we need to be a bit careful because they're kind of up for this. And the more chances we gave them, the more they were up for it. Then Maguire gave away a really bad one that led to the goal. Now, the goal itself was just an unbelievable shot from Huarigizar. I don't know how to pronounce some of these names there, but it was just an unbelievable shot, but still one that we had to worry about right at 31 minutes. We got a little bit of momentum after that, got a little bit more chances to end out the second half. But then in the start of the first half, the second half it was even worse, and we were really under a lot of pressure. Now, to me, this game was, for the most part, the story of every single game this season. I say this so many times. You could talk about every part of the team that you wanted to because there was mediocre performances. It was after a really good first leg, a pretty mediocre to bad second leg from Ugarte. Before the subs, I think Casemiro was just okay. Some mistakes from Maguire, not his usual self. Bruno was really kind of invisible for the most part in the beginning, a little bit sloppy, all of that. That being said, for me, it was the same story that we see every single game for United this season, and the same thing that it's our biggest problem, and that's the forwards. I cannot look past it. It's so frustrating, and i- Hoyland gets a goal very late on, which we'll talk about. Up until that moment, though, one of the worst games I've seen from a number nine again. After against Lyon, seeing him in one of the worst games I've seen from a number nine at United again. It was so bad. He was fighting the air, wrestling the air, losing the ball, tripping over his feet, doing that thing where he's backing into the defender and lets the ball bounce 3 yards away from him, and then someone else just comes and takes it because he's just sitting there, grinding on him. I don't understand it. I was losing my head, and because we were, when we conceded that goal, I was losing my head by about 10-15 minutes with that. It's so frustrating. But because then when we conceded, it started getting even worse. But then to top that off, two separate occasions, Alejandro Garnacho in on net misses again, and it's like I can't, you can, the stats, the things, the all of that, all this discussion. The simple fact of the matter is, we create plenty of chances to score in every single game. We really do, and when you watch the games with your eyes, you can see it. We had zero point 0.8 xG in the first half. That was mostly off of the single chance that was taken by Garnacho, right? Where was it? Here. That he shoots, that he tries to do some weird, awful chip from the top of the box. Um, there's another occasion that he was through that doesn't even count as an XG because he essentially dribbled it into the keeper. Um, and then the goals, and then how do the goals come? Where do the goals happen? Well, it's the same thing as ever for the most part, right? But really frustrating because, quite frankly, with two different forwards in that game, I think we're clear away 2-3 ahead in the first half, sleeping, relaxed, calm, not in this chaotic game state. Then, the second half, we were getting battered. We really could have conceded again. It was really dangerous. It was a really not a good situation until the subs. And let's see how it shows it here, right? So they made subs, we made subs. Um, Luke Shaw comes in for Mazraoui, Mount for Ugarte, Ahmad comes in for Garnacho, and it goes crazy after this. Okay, and one of the players I do want to give massive praise to, that for me was the man of the match, that continues to be just on an absolute another planet, is Lenny Yoro. Because even when we were struggling, he was making clearances, blocking shots, winning the ball, winning his duels. You look at what he's doing there, passing well, doing everything you needed from him at such a young age. The composure that Lenny Yoro shows is on another planet. He was our best center back, easily our best player for me. And and in the second half, once we made those subs, two things happened. Number one, Amad Diallo. I don't know what else I could say about Ahmad. The moment he comes on, and he came on as a 10 today, not as a fullback, yesterday. He came on in Garnacho's position. Specifically, Dorgu shifted over to the right and Shaw went to the left. When he came on in that position, it was like I tweeted this, but it was almost embarrassing what he can do versus what we're used to when he's not on the pitch. And you start to go, wait a second, is that what it's supposed to look like? The things he was doing, picking up the ball on the turn, dribbling defenders, taking them on, creating things, making things happen right from the start, was just unbelievable for Ahmad. But the other thing that happened was Lenny Euro got real aggressive, starts carrying the ball forwards. We've seen this before from him in Europe. We've seen it when it matters. Starts bringing the ball up, starts breaking the lines himself, starts getting involved in the attack. He pushes an amazing ball in after a good dribble over to Mason Mount. Here, where is it? Let's see. This one here for Mason Mount's goal. Mason Mount with a machete turn and shoot into the corner, scores. Then United are feeling a bit free. It's four. It's they're back up to 3 goals on aggregate, and I'm flying once again. Then we get a set piece again. Bruno into Casemiro. Then the next goal comes in. Kabi comes on for Casemiro. Amos comes on for Lindelof. Shifts around Ahmad and Lenny once again combine to do this amazing, like Lenny charging up the pitch, gets it to Ahmad, cuts it to the byline, sends it across for the tap-in of all tap-ins for Hoyland, which I'm not taking credit away from him. But it's a .95 xG shot, created by those moves from the players. That's what we needed. That's what he needs. But we need a lot more than that out of him. But still, it's creating those chances is what matters. And then it was all finished off with Mason Mount hitting uh, an absolute bomb from way downtown with his left foot as the keeper comes out. Just an amazing goal, a Beckham goal, and so another huge positive of it is obviously Mason Mount announcing himself again. 3 goals, 2 games, 2 goals in this game, comes on, shows what he's made of. Can Mason Mount finally kick on and become, the player we'd all hoped he was when we signed him? We'll see about that. Maybe, maybe not. Um, he's not gotten enough time to be on the pitch to really tell us anything. But now that he's getting a few consistent minutes for the last few weeks, we're starting to see something from Mason Mount, just as I gave up hope. And maybe there's a Mason Mount in there after all that would be good to watch. So at the end of it, a very positive night, a big win, huge on aggregate, and United will play Spurs on the 21st. Huge game. Worries me more than anything due to our struggles against Spurs. But what I would say is, big games like this, they're decided by the players. They're decided by the big players who get out there. We need Maguire to have a better game than he did in that second leg. We need Casemiro to have another big game. We need Bruno to show up more than he did in that leg, to be quite honest. And then you have to get Ahmad on the pitch. And I'd be strongly tempted to say get Ahmad on the pitch, get Shaw on the pitch, get Mount on the pitch. Just get your best players, your best on ball creators, the guys who have quality on the pitch and make something happen. Because I think in doing so, we just have to win the quality battle. And then it's all down to the players. Tottenham will be missing Bergvall, they'll be missing Madison. They have good players. We can do better. We can match and beat their quality. We can match and beat their quality on the ball, off the ball, and in all aspects. And just get them on the pitch, and it's on them to make it happen there. And I don't think they'll let us down. I really don't. But it's that kind of season where you don't want to count any chickens before they are hatched. So let's talk about the next piece of news that I want to discuss here, which is this from Lyle Thomas at Sky Sports. It says Chelsea and United have been looking at promising Barcelona teenager Juan Hernandez Torres, believed to have a 5 million release clause, attacking mid 18 in July, Spain under 19. I don't know anything about him, but obviously United are continuing to look at, more of these young tens, more attacking players, more Vivell type signings to add to the front line, to add to the attacking eight, maybe into the tens position. I'm not sure exactly what you would be, but anybody who's coming out of Spain and the academies and all of that, like worth a shot, I suppose, right? How bad can it be, knowing the qualities that have been coming out of there and been being produced. So obviously another one that United are looking at, and are continuing to try to add some more young players like that. And I think that they will, as we've been speaking a bit, get multiple young players coming into the team. Um, Multiple young players coming into the squad in that bracket of like that 18 plus range, 18 range where they're going to be like on the cusp of the first team and all that. We need more of those in many positions, and they really are ready to fully retool the team and say we need options. We just need more options because we'll sign a few first teamers, but we're going to have to sell some players. We need options. We need young players coming through and people that can become something special. The next thing is Marcus Rashford to Barcelona. This has been something many times I've mentioned. It's his preferred destination. It's where he'd like to play this summer. And we actually had strong news coming um, out of Spain, and today being as well confirmed by Fabrizio Romano about Marcus Rashford being an option for for Barcelona, and that they have an interest in there. I've said many times that there's some people there that really like him. They tried to sign him 2 or 3 years ago, and he was and he stayed. And he stayed and all of that. But, obviously it's a club that has a large draw to him, and it's a club that has liked him, that has admired him, that's interested in him. And so it's one to watch because obviously there's the chance of Aston Villa in there, that they're going to try to trigger that release clause and stay, but the possibility that they can afford his contract and things like that is fairly low. It's not super likely. Um, and he, I think, would like to go to a bigger club, if possible, Barcelona being the dream. So Barcelona have had some discussions with him and his representatives, and people in recent times they have expressed their interest. He is still an option for them. It would be better for United as well. One of the things I obviously described is that the problem if he goes to somewhere like Aston Villa with the wages that we owe Rashford, even if he sold for that 40 million option that they have, well, we're probably going to have to pay off a good chunk of wages that'll eat up a lot of the profit because we gave him that contract and owe him that money. If he goes somewhere like Barcelona, he's likely to be on a bit better wages, maybe even than no payoff, and the sale would just be pure profit and would certainly make a difference, in the spending capabilities that come from that deal. So that is one to watch, but that the interest is very real. And according to the news, Barcelona is starting to make some moves on that. They still need forwards, they still need attackers, they still need more goals, and I really actually think he'd fit in quite well there. They would like him, he would like them, and I think it would be a happy ending for everybody in that case if he gets that kind of move. Technically, they don't have the 40 million option, but I think United would sell him at a around that decent price, all things considered. Should they be willing to put that kind of offer on the table? Um, so yeah, but they really view him. They really like him as well in his ability to play as a number nine in their system and all of that. And so that's been confirmed by Romano and others. So definitely one to watch because that would be a big story. That could be good for him, good for us. That could definitely make everything work a lot better. Last thing here, and then I'll end off this video, is on Cunha. A lot of talk of Arsenal making a move, of other clubs making contacts and getting involved for him. Talk from people that the deal's not done, it's not agreed, it's not set, all that. It's all fine. It's all fine. Okay, it's all true, all okay. And here's the thing, right? Obviously, until we're signed, sealed, delivered, set in stone, we're all going to be worried about it. But what is true is this. Cunha is prioritizing the move to us. We know that already. He's already told us he wants to join. He's already excited about the project, about the position, about the role that's on offer for him from United. He's not concerned by Champions League or things like that. He's ready to go. We've already told them we'll trigger the release clause. Everything is essentially lined up for this deal. But as Ornstein pointed out, one, the release clause isn't active. We can't even trigger it till the season is over. And two, we need to fully finalize personal terms and finish our season in Europa. As far as I know, United are still very confident on this, and I had some discussions about it yesterday just to check on it after seeing some of the news. United are still fairly confident about it. United still feel he's has pretty much committed to joining United, and they actually feel like the personal terms are not going to be much of an issue. But the the thing that is probably going to change on that is even though Champions League is an issue, it probably will be affecting the details of the breakdown of the deal that he gets with United. If we're in Champions League, then there's a certain structure, all of that. If we're not in Champions League, then we know we usually have these clauses reducing contracts and things like that. But for a new signing, it may be that there's slightly different bonuses or different ways that the money is spread out based on either one, um, that would be acceptable. And that's totally normal. That is totally normal. And that's usually why teams want to finish, wrap up, know their finances, why players want to know so they can look and say, okay, all right, you're not in Champions League, fine. Well, let's get, the contract, maybe it's backloaded. In a year it goes up a little bit more. What the contract we wanted, should you be in Champions League, maybe we have it just go up a little bit next year or something. There's different things in there, but those are the types of discussions that will happen when the campaign concludes and we know, and then we will finalize the terms because those things have already been discussed, but they cannot really be finalized until this point in time and agreed upon as to the specifics of how it's done. But as far as I hear, nothing to worry about there. At the moment, I'm still very, very obviously. Look, until it's done, it's not right, and anybody can come in and steal the deal and all of that. It's just the reality of the situation we face. But the fact is, Wolves' release clause is not active at the moment, um, and Cunha has already told United he wants to join, and so I don't think there's anything to worry about, right? And I think that David Ornstein also said that it's not like it's gone cold, it's not like it's gone off boil, it's not like it's a problem. It's just the release clause needs to be active, and we got to finish our campaign and wrap up those personal terms. So I'm still totally, here's the thing: Arsenal, they could sign him today; their season is done. Newcastle, they could sign him; they're there. These teams are stable; they're into the Champions League this season. If that was, if he wants to go to them, then they could have him. But if he's still prioritizing United with everything that happened, then, then it's unlikely there's any issues here. We just have a season that's actually active, and that should be something we should be proud of. Our season's still going. Arsenal's is over, and that means we need a little bit longer just to wait to finalize these deals and everything. So for now, all I can say is there's nothing to worry about yet just because other clubs are coming in and having conversations. We still have more meetings set up with Cunha and his people. We still have from them a fairly strong commitment on wanting to join. We still have expressed the willingness to trigger the release clause so we don't have to worry about the club negotiations. Um, and we're still, as far as I hear it, fairly close on all the terms, just pending finalizing the season. So, barring a major turnaround that doesn't seem to make sense because otherwise, why give us priority in the first place? I still expect that we will be getting Cunha in. And frankly, we're in a Europa final, which is only making our project even more convincing. And if we win it, then we're a Champions League club, and why would anybody change their mind after they've decided to join us and want to take part? But you know, we'll see where that lands at the moment. But for now, I remain completely unconcerned based on the conversations I've had, and there will be more discussions with Cunha and United in the days to come, even ahead of the final. Okay, that's what I have for today. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications on. Have a good one, everybody. See you later.